When we think of a heart attack, we usually picture something dramatic, right? Chest clutching, sudden, and noisy. But what if I told you the most dangerous kind is the one that's completely silent? The one that can happen while you're fast asleep. In this explainer, we're going to dive into 5 incredibly common nightly habits that could be putting your heart at risk, especially if you're over 60. And this is all based on the real-world, frontline experience of a cardiac surgeon.
This quote from Dr. Richard Ben, the cardiac surgeon, really hits home. It sets the stage perfectly. See, after age 60, the rules for heart health, they kind of change. It's not always about that big cinematic collapse. It's often about the slow, unnoticed damage that builds up night after night, almost like a line of dominoes just waiting to fall, often triggered by simple habits we barely even think about.
So why is nighttime so important? Why is it so critical? Well, those hours are supposed to be a time of biological reset. In a healthy body, your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure takes a dip, and your arteries get a chance to relax. But as we get older, that whole system becomes a little less reliable. And the margin for error, well, it gets a whole lot smaller.
I love this metaphor. Think about it this way. During the day, your heart and your whole cardiovascular system have a full crew on deck. All the backup systems are online, ready to adapt to stress. But at night, it's running on a skeleton crew. A lot of those backup systems are offline to save energy. This makes your heart so much more vulnerable to any extra stress we put on it. And that's precisely why those quiet hours can be so high risk.
Okay, this brings us to mistake number 1. And trust me, this is the one that surprises almost everyone. Let me just ask you a quick question. What time did you eat dinner last night? If your answer is something like 8 or even 9 p.m. and then you went to bed shortly after, you're definitely not alone. But this very common habit forces a really dangerous competition inside your body.
Let's just walk through this chain reaction here. You eat a big late meal. Your body has to send a massive amount of blood flow to your stomach to get the job of digestion done. This forces your heart to pump harder and your blood pressure to go up, right at the exact moment it's supposed to be shifting into rest and recovery mode. These two things are in a direct tug of war, and it puts this huge, underestimated amount of stress on your heart. And here's the good news. The fix is actually surprisingly simple. This isn't about some crazy new diet or giving up foods you love. It's just about timing. Finishing your main meal by 6 or 7 in the evening gives your body the 3 to 4 hours it needs for digestion to wind down before your heart needs to begin its critical nightly repair work. All right, let's talk about our next 2 mistakes. And these are maybe the most invisible ones, but they are absolutely critical. We're talking about the timing of your blood pressure medication and the hidden dangers of undiagnosed sleep apnea. This is where a lot of preventable damage can really happen.
I'm willing to bet a lot of you have never even heard of this term, nocturnal hypertension. It's a condition where your blood pressure, instead of dipping like it's supposed to at night, actually stays high or, get this, even surges. A pressure spike at 3 a.m. is so much more dangerous than one at 3 p.m. because your system is vulnerable. It's far more likely to rupture plaque in an artery and form a dangerous clot.
Think about it. If you take your blood pressure medication only in the morning, by the time you really need it most in the middle of the night, its effects might have totally worn off. The fix here is just a simple conversation. Ask your doctor specifically about taking your dose in the evening. There's research showing this can dramatically reduce your risk during sleep. That 2-minute chat could literally be a lifesaver. Now just look at this number. 3 times. That's not a 30% increase. We're talking a 3-fold increased risk of a heart attack for someone with sleep apnea. Most of us think snoring is just, an annoyance for our partner. But for a cardiac surgeon, loud, irregular snoring is a major red flag until proven otherwise. And as you can see, it's not just about the noise. During a sleep apnea episode, you actually stop breathing for moments at a time. Your oxygen levels drop and your body panics, jolting your heart with stress hormones to wake you up just enough to breathe. Imagine that happening over and over and over all night. If any of these signs look familiar, getting evaluated isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely essential for your heart.
Okay, on to our final 2 mistakes. And these are rooted in something we all have total control over every single night, our own bedroom. We're talking about the water you drink, or maybe don't drink, and the temperature of the room where you sleep.
A lot of people over 60 purposely stop drinking fluids in the evening because they don't want to wake up to use the bathroom. And it seems logical, right? But it's a really serious risk. When you're dehydrated, your blood literally becomes thicker. It's more viscous. Now combine that thick, kind of sludge-like blood with a heart rate that's naturally slower during sleep, and you've just created the absolute perfect recipe for a clot to form. Now what about your room temperature?
This chart makes it crystal clear. If your room is too warm, your heart rate stays high trying to cool you down. Too cold, and your blood vessels constrict, which pushes your blood pressure up. That sweet spot, that optimal range between 65 and 72 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 18 to 22 Celsius, that's the Goldilocks zone. It's just right, and it allows your heart to do its job without any extra unnecessary stress.
So all of this might sound like a whole new list of things to worry about, but I really want you to see it a different way. When you put all these fixes together, what you actually have is a simple, practical blueprint for a heart-safe evening. This isn't about some radical life overhaul. It's a truly actionable step-by-step plan.
Just look at how simple this really is when you lay it out. Finish dinner by 7. Right after, take your medications with a glass of water. Around 9, get your room ready. Set the temperature, put some water on the nightstand, and then by 10, head to bed, maybe sleeping on your side to help with any snoring. See? Each step is small, it's manageable, and it directly tackles one of the risks we've just talked about. This is totally doable. Wow. This thought from the surgeon, it's just so powerful and, honestly, pretty sobering. So many of these cardiac events that happen in the middle of the night aren't just a case of bad luck. They happen because of bad information. The things that contribute to them are often the very habits we've just gone over, the quiet background noise of our ordinary evenings that just adds up over time.
So let's end with a crystal clear action plan. Here they are, your 5 fixes. Eat earlier. Ask your doctor about your medication timing. Take snoring seriously. Stay hydrated, and get your room temperature right. You now have the information that so many people, unfortunately, never get.
And that brings us to the final, and really the most important question. This isn't about something you should do next week or after my next checkup. This is about tonight. You have the information now. Which one of these simple changes are you going to make to give your heart the protection it really deserves? Starting right now, the choice is yours.